Oh, another story to do. And I just talked about it. David Ige, 2-3 weeks ago, said everybody needs to start looking for it because everything's fantastic in Hawaii. The economy is booming. Well, you can all get jobs. There's plenty of jobs. Media went along with it, even though I talked to them and told them. I looked online and there's only like maybe 600. Most of the jobs are DoorDash, busboy, dishwasher, brand representatives in the grocery stores who get samples out at Sam's. I mean, just bullshit jobs, right? And here's a note, folks. If you're overqualified or underqualified, you don't need to take it, and it's got to be in the money you used to make. And you can demand full time. You know, you just have to look for 3 jobs that fit your previous job description. And I mean, I apply for whatever, but when they see that I'm 71 and that I need $23 an hour and full time, they generally don't call. Because one guy, actually, I'll tell their name now, and Strip Steak called me and wanted me to go in, and I did, went down, and I stood there at the door while they're all having their meeting in the back, very professional. I stood there for like several minutes, 3, 4, 5 minutes, until someone got up to come talk to me. They acted like, what's this person doing? And I mean, do I look that old? I mean, I'm 71, but I don't look 71. Anyway, and they come over and said, oh, I asked for this girl, Karen Guido, whatever. She goes, she's not here. Well, it turns out she's HR person from Vegas, from their Vegas shop, who sent out these things. They didn't even know who was coming, or they weren't prepared to know who was coming. And eventually they sat me down, and there were all these other maybe 5, 6 people waiting. So I started talking to the guy. He doesn't even really look at my resume. And he made me fill out some silly questionnaire about what's the job of a host. I mean, you know, I've been a restaurant manager, an owner, a developer. And if you had read my thing and my resume, but I was just trying to be nice and do what they said. And he says, oh, well, you know, these jobs are all taken. I certainly hope that when I go back and they open up on the 1st of July, that there's people over 30 working there, because if not, I'll be filing a complaint with the EEOC for age discrimination, because I'm quite capable of doing that job. Even at the money, I said, you know, I need $15 an hour, plus I need to make like another, probably $60 a day and $70 a day in tips. But they don't have but when people say you're going to get so much with tips, management doesn't have a right to tell you or predict. They don't have a right to control your tips. They don't have a right to handle your tips, determine how the tips are distributed. The tips are held like in a bank bag with a key, and they can be put in the safe overnight for safekeeping and handed back. The report, of course, can be generated on the computer, and whoever does that needs to just go in and have the management enter the figures of the credit card sales and the sales. And they can't be skimming money from private parties unless it's called a service charge. If it's called a tip or a gratuity, it's yours. This also has to be on the menu and has to say the amount. So that's these places saying you're going to get this much in tips. They don't have a right to say that because they can't predict it, nor do they have an ability to determine that. So that's they're just trying to lure you in with lies. Welcome to local small businesses. Anyway, so just last Friday, David Ige comes out. And this is after Josh Green said, oh, the Japanese are coming in April. No, now they're coming in October, Josh Green says. Well, David Ige, after saying that everything was fine and fantastic, and I kept putting out there that, you know, a lot of the people who are visiting Hawaii right now are, how's a nice way to put it? Very low disposable income people. They're here on pent-up demand, fed by tax returns, government-funded vacation, bookings from a long time ago before the rates started going up, and stimulus money. And they bring their whole family, and they go to the beach and walk around and don't do much, maybe go to Pearl Harbor, you know, and they're jamming the buses like I've never seen before. They don't spend a lot of money. Well, these hotels here, for all you know, and when I think that people need to get back to work, an apartment here, a studio, costs $1,400. So say you were to get a part-time job, 2 of you, you may not even make the rent on those part-time jobs. And that's cheap. I mean, you could find a place in the hood for $600 in a crack hotel for one, is all they'll allow to be in there. So don't go jumping on people saying that they're lazy when they can't even afford to live here. I think probably 50, 60,000 people have left Hawaii because it's becoming untenable, frankly, financially for a lot of people. They move to where they can have a life, even though they miss Hawaii. This is going to be the future Hong Kong for the rich, and the slaves. So what they wanted to do, and what the Chamber of Commerce was doing, was forcing people, by trying to cut the $300 out, which they did in a lot of states, to go to work and take whatever job they could. They want their slaves back, their wage slaves, their human chattel, and they're taking advantage of the pandemic to pay very little money to people to come work for them so they can make a lot of money and pocket it all. They're wage slave, they're slave drivers. All these restaurants that are doing this, all the states, and they're creating and radicalizing a whole class and number of people who are finally seeing how they're being used by these people, and what they made before they're not going to make again. That was the dream. It's over. And anyway, so now David Ige says, this is all going to go away in August or soon, because, well, we all know that school's going to go back in August and September for sure, in the mainland. And all these families that are here, school, college, everything's going to be opened up. They're all going to disappear. And our whatever it is, 65% occupancy, some places are doing 85%, the cheaper hotels. It's going to go down to 40-45% occupancy. And the Japanese aren't coming. Japanese spend the kind of money that pays the bills that these hotels need, that kind of income to pay their bills for their functioning, their operational costs. They're not making enough money right now off of all these people you're seeing in Waikiki, these numbers that you see. And the media knows this, and I've told them, and it's quite obvious to anyone who has half a brain, that the finances aren't working, but they don't want to tell that because they're pushing the Chamber of Commerce line. Someone calls up from a lobbyist for a restaurant association or a chamber or some restaurant group. Says, we advertise with you and we need some help to get people back to work and make money. So if we don't make enough money, we won't be able to pay to advertise on your channel. So you think that affects people's attitude? They say it doesn't, but it does. It would affect my attitude. You want to pay the bills. You take it in, and it's not the guys who are running the station day to day, it's the owners that are making. When these job assignments go out for these stories, they're assigned these jobs. The reporters don't just make up the decision to do this job all by themselves. They might pitch it, but the people at the top decide what they're going to do. And so they kept pushing the story about people making too much money and being lazy. Making too much money. Oh my God, you shouldn't make so much money. Why are you making so much money? They made what they would be called in Hawaii a living wage. I think for a family for two in Hawaii, it's like $120,000 a year you need to make. And these people are bringing home maybe like, two of them bringing home maybe $1,800, $2,100. So that leaves them like $600-700 over the rent to pay food, laundry, medical, clothes, household supplies. So before you start bitching at the people here, it's different everywhere, and every state's got different cost of living. But this place screwed up. So Ige basically said, oh no, the Japanese aren't coming to next summer. Josh Green says anything to get elected. Do not elect him governor. Do not. He's just going to be just like another guy who tells you what you want to hear. Don't elect Josh Green. He's a panderer. I'm giving you $15 an hour, Josh Green says. He knew that wasn't going to happen. He just wanted to make himself look like one of the good guys. I'm on your side. He's on the side of Big Pharma and other people like that. People, stop buying this crap from these people. Look at their hypocrisy. It's incredible. It's unbelievable, if you might ask, right? So anyway, take care. Bye.